everyone's free to couch this however they want, but last place is last place. And last place is where they are now for the first time in 2024. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports, and this is Daily Shot of Pirates. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and/or hockey, I also offer daily shots of Steelers and Penguins in the same place that you found this. Dodgers 11, Pirates 7, Los Angeles avoiding the sweep last night at PNC Park. Their big bats got to Bailey Falter, and then their big bats really feasted off of, I can't even call those guys the bullpen. The bullpen to me is Colin Holderman, Aroldis Chapman, David Bednar, for better or worse in any of those cases. But these other guys, man, every time they're called in, any of them, it's just pouring gas onto the fire. And the offense, which did get a timely home run, at least early on in the game, from Nick Gonzalez and a river ball out of O'Neal Cruz, but also struck out 15 times. 12 of those came against the Los Angeles bullpen. You might never again witness a team getting struck out 12 times by the other guy's bullpen. So yeah, I'm familiar with how this goes because I can mention Gonzalez and Cruz, and I did yesterday's entire episode on Gonzalez and how great he's been and how much credit he deserves for it. And the night before that, I did an entire episode on Holderman after talking to him for a while. I played the interview for you, and you go, yeah, this is cool. This is really fun. And it's all Paul Skeens and Jared Jones and Mitch Keller from here. And yet, we're here talking right now on the 7th of June about the Pirates being in last place because the Reds surpassed them last night by beating the Cubs. There are 5 teams in the Central Division. The Pirates are 5th. Console yourself with the Pirates being a game and a half back in the wild card or a game and a half behind the Cubs for second place. But what that really means is that they're in a pack of teams and that they'd have to overcome a pack of teams to make the playoffs. That's a big ask. So every game that you play, and this is my point here, matters. Every win matters. Every loss matters. A year ago, this team was 4 games over and in second place. Now it's 4 games under and you know where. And that is in large part because management, specifically Ben Cherington, has not taken this season seriously to date. What this GM's become comfortable saying, and it's because he said it the last 3 years, is, well, we'll let the team dictate to us where they are, what kind of support they should be getting, or if we should be buyers or sellers. That's a static line. Everybody uses that now in the industry. Everybody. Neil Huntington used it. It's the old executive sits back in the chair and takes a puff on the figurative cigar and says, "You show me." Well, that's not this situation because this is year 5. Because this is the year, not according to me, not according to you, but according to Cherington himself, that they should be contending for a playoff spot. And way more important than any of that, this is the year that Skeens arrived. And the moment he arrived, the rebuild was over. There's no more sitting back and waiting for them to show you. It's time to be proactive. It's time to get more consistent bats so that you can take these 100 hitters out of your lineup. It's time to start really getting dire, I think, about some of these guys in this pen. I've already forgotten the names of the 2 relievers who threw this one away last night. Ideally, they'll be thrown away sooner rather than later if they keep pitching like that. But they're not an answer. That's scrap heap stuff. The one guy, the lefty, they picked up off of, I don't even remember, some team cut him, whatever. He was with the Reds and then the Rockies, and he was pitching in the minors this year, and whoever it was that had him, I guess it was in the Colorado system, This is stuff that you do in 2020 and 2021. If you want to get help for your pen, go get help for your pen. Once more, from the top of Mount Washington, start trying to win the game that's right in front of you. The way I view the game last night is that, all right, Freddie Freeman, really good ball player, runs into one from Falter, who's been outstanding. And the Dodgers take a 4-0 lead. You know what happened after that? Pirates battled back, notably on the Gonzalez home run that tied it at 4. And that right there is where your game gets started all over again. It's still early. You've got a handful of innings ahead. That's where your game begins. And that's where Derek Shelton, who ends up looking like the idiot here, goes to the pen and brings in these people, whoever they were, and then, like, as if they weren't bad enough, well, here's Kyle Nicholas too, because everything he does turns to gold. And that game, with the way the Pirates' main guys, the ones who are actually swinging well right now, were looking in the box, they actually had a chance to pull that off. They actually had a chance to pull off the sweep. Am I getting greedy? I don't know. I don't really care about, they took 2 of 3 in the series or if they would have swept or whatever. I'm not into the whole Pirates versus the big bag Dodgers and whatever. This is just about winning games. This is about winning games. It wouldn't matter in the slightest who they were playing. You're not looking for symbolic victories at this point. I'm talking to you now. Symbolic victories, that's fun when you're rebuilding. Now you just need victories. You need to take steps in the standings, and that means beating whoever you're playing, whatever venue and whatever day. I'm sure they're right back to scanning the waiver wire again, instead of, doing the stuff that they're supposed to be doing. When we come back, J1Q. This portion of Daily Shot of Pirates is brought to you by our friends at North Shore Tavern, that's directly across Federal Street from PNC Park. It's home of Steak on a Stone, an eating experience, underscoring the word experience. The steak is brought to you partially cooked on an 800-degree stone, and you do the rest. It's a ton of fun, it's a great meal, and it's a baseball atmosphere like no other in Pittsburgh. North Shore Tavern, right across Federal Street from PNC Park. Today's J1Q comes from Jason, who says, DK, as we build this team, what field positions are truly set? Well, look, this isn't aimed at you, Jason, okay? This is a general remark, and please don't take it in any negative context. But everybody's got to get over this. Respectfully, my man, that's a question that you ask in the 2nd or 3rd year of a rebuild. It really is. What positions are set? Well, forever we would just say Brian Reynolds and Brian Hayes. And then from there we would do a projection of all the guys who were coming up from the minors, and we would say, well, you'll have O'Neal Cruz at short, you'll have Leover Peguero at second, or Nick Gonzalez or whatever. And then you'll go around the field and you'll do. This is year 5. This is year 5. And what you're seeing out there is what they've done. Staying within your prism of positions on the field. The rotation is now a real thing. Bullpen I just talked about. The everyday guys, well, for the most part, you're still talking about Reynolds and Hayes. Yeah, Cruz is out there every day, but you never know when you're going to get a month-long tear or a month-long slump. And especially in looking at his splits, what he's done against lefties, or what I should say is what he's not done against lefties, has to start becoming a major concern for this franchise. Nobody wants him to be a platoon player. But that's the neon lights that are being lit up right now. So who else are we looking at? Work with me. Let's go around the battery. Is Henry Davis your everyday catcher for the foreseeable future? Sure. Okay. But does that mean he's going to be enough? Does that mean he's going to perform to that capability, or we're just going to keep waiting on it? First base is just a black hole. Second base is right now really intriguing because you're getting Nick Gonzalez to produce at a level that he's never produced before, and he's doing it with striking consistency. But it's only been a month. And what everyone's going to quietly want to see is how he responds to his first setback. Baseball people tell you all the time, it's easy to stay hot when you're hot. It's not as easy to try to climb out of a slump. It's nowhere near as easy. And the other two outfield slots, Jack Suwinski, from what I've heard, is going to go back down as soon as Michael A. Taylor is healthy. So between Suwinski, Taylor, Edward Olivares has had some nice at-bats of late. I don't think anybody would consider him to be a part of the everyday solution. And Kutch is your DH at age 37 and probably your most dependable hitter. That's what's there. That's my attempt to actually answer the question, Jason. So there comes a point where you're done with your rebuild, or you should be done with your rebuild, and you should be thinking in a different way, and you should look at what I just laid out there and say, all right, what do we have to give up to get that? Because we need to get that now. Not in a year or two, or not after they show us something. Right bleeping now. That's why being in last place in the first week of June matters. It really does. Because you're in a pack now, and you're going to have to fight your way out of that pack. That's not going to be any picnic, and that's not going to happen without significant outside assistance. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Pirates. We'll be back with another one Monday.